Hey, stay tuned. We're not going to do some beekeeping today, but it's going to be a little bit of an informational video. You'll appreciate this, so stay tuned. Hello folks, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host Jerry Hanson. We're in the Homestead apiary, and this is where I do all my beekeeping. Right here is my bee barn, and over there is my bee hives. You notice that the bees have clustered on the entrance of their hive because it's pretty hot outside. It was in the mid-90s today, and so they're trying to keep their hive cool and stay cool. So this beehive does have a screen bottom, so it allows for good airflow, air circulation through the hive, especially during the summer months when it is really hot. But I wanted to share with you guys what I found out about queen bees. I didn't know this until the other day when I was doing some research on when a queen bee, she goes out and breeds. A queen bee, what the bees do is they make a supersedure cell or a queen cell, and they feed that pupa or that larva royal jelly, and that will make her a queen. The other ones, they won't feed royal jelly, just this one particular special one, and they have a special cup that they make for her, and it's a special cup because it's upside down, and when she is ready to hatch, she'll carve her way out of the cup and come out, and then she'll expand her wings, she'll dry off, and then she eventually makes her maiden flight. Now when she makes that maiden flight, that's when she goes out and finds a group of drones, which are thousands of drones in this group, from hives all over the area. But here's the interesting thing I found out. That queen of the hive, not the queen that was hatched, but the queen of the hive, will lay mostly eggs that are female. And those are the fertilized eggs. The unfertilized eggs are male, which we call drones. Those are the male bees. They do not have a stinger. In place of a stinger, that is their reproductive organ. So a drone only exists to breed with a queen. That's right. The rest of the worker bees, they're all female. So you know that movie, the Bee Movie? Totally wrong. Totally wrong. The males don't do any work. In fact, the girl bees have to feed the boy bees because they can't feed themselves. They're the ones that go out and collect all the pollen and nectar, bring it back to the hive, and they have to feed those drones. But when it gets close to wintertime, they push all the drones out of the hives so they don't have to feed the drones through the winter, and the drones die. Yep, so much is the life of a bee. So it's a matriarch society in a beehive. The only thing I have to say about that is, you go, girl. Now, the honeybees, which are all girls, for some strange reason, they decide their queen is not doing a good job. Perhaps she's getting old, getting weak, not laying enough, so they're going to create a new queen. It could also be that the hive is getting too crowded, so they need to thin out the hive. So in nature, they will create another queen. They'll take the original queen from the hive, and about a third of them will flee the hive or fly away from the hive and go find another place to live and build a whole new colony, which is very beneficial to the environment because we need bees for human subsistence. You know, save the bees, save the world. So these little creatures know exactly what they're doing. So when it comes time to make a queen, that queen is not fertile. She has to go out and make a maiden voyage and fly out to a group of drones. And that's what these drones do, is they fly out. But here's the interesting thing I found out. The drones in this hive will only fly up to 1,200 meters away from their home hive. Now, that hive's new queen instinctively knows to fly 3,000 meters away from the hive to find a cluster of drones flying about 200 feet in the air, or maybe higher, and get impregnated. And she can copulate with as many as maybe 20 other drones, the little hussy. So here's the deal. I found out that a scientist, they using radar and other methods of tracking a colony of drones and a queen to find out where they flew to breed. He found out that the queen does fly 3,000 meters from the hive, but the drones only go 1,200 meters. And so when he was giving a symposium or a conference, a bunch of California beekeepers sitting at the tables, jaws dropped to the table, and after they picked up their jaws, they immediately went back to their apiaries and took a bunch of drone hives and set them 3,000 feet out away from the queen hives, so the queens can go 3,000 feet out to get, you know, romantic with those drones 3,000 meters out, not the drones 1,200 meters. That way they can keep the strain of bee, the genetics of the bee, at Saskatchewan instead of the other bees, and that's how you do it. That's interesting, huh? So once she's done her business, she then flies back to the hive, and she becomes the queen mother of the hive because the other queen has left. On occasion, if the bees have made a new queen or queen cell, the existing queen will go throughout the hive looking for that queen cell, and she will take her mandibles, go in, and she will kill that new queen that they're trying to raise. So she will be the only queen. Now this is interesting. A worker bee, or a regular honeybee, she will lay eggs too. They're not fertilized because they didn't go out and fertilize like the queen. The queen is the only one that flies out and gets fertilized. So remember what I told you at the beginning of the video? Unfertilized eggs produce drones. So when you have a bunch of drones and no brood, that means you lost your queen, and you have a worker bee that is actually producing nothing but drones. You're in trouble. You need to buy a queen really quick. So to answer some comments on my last beekeeping video about doing a walk-away split or other types of splits, here's the deal. These are Saskatchewan bees. They have the genetics of a Canadian bee, and the Canadian bees are more heartily acclimated to a colder, wetter climate. As a beekeeper living in the mountains, the Cascade Mountains, that to me is a bee that's easier to keep than say a Mediterranean bee, the Anatolian, which is an Italian bee. You know, Italian bees live in warmer climates, and you have to babysit them throughout the winter, and you have to wrap their hives and keep them warm and really babysit them, and trying to make the hives grow and prosper. It's a lot of work for those Anatolian bees. Well, but then you have the Russian bees, which are acclimated to the cold. But you've got this other strain of bees that they've developed, which are Saskatchewan's bees. And that's what I mean by when I explain to you why a queen travels 3,000 meters from the hive so as not instinctively to crossbreed with her own siblings or children or brothers, whatever, because those drones are of her same genetic line. That way she crosses, because those drones only fly 1,200 meters, and that's it. So she gets new DNA material that she can bring back to her hive. Some of you suggested that, well, hey, these mongrel bees that live out and around that are wild, it's just like, you are absolutely 100% correct and accurate. They are acclimated to this climate because they're able to survive in the wild. Yes, that's true. But do I personally want my Saskatchewan's bees to be crossbred with those bees, which I don't know what breed they are? I'm thinking about it. It's an option. The options are on the table. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm trying to get a hold of another 1 or 2 more Saskatchewan's queens that are already fertilized, so I can introduce them into the hive, so I can actually split the hives here in a couple of weeks. And that's optimally what I plan to do, so long as there's queens available. If not, I have to add more boxes, what we call deeps or brood chambers, to give them more room to grow, so the queen won't feel like she's too cramped and they have to create another queen and create a supersedure cell and make another queen and have up to half the hive splits and leaves. I want to keep the bees here, and I want to be able to harvest some honey. So that's what I've got on beekeeping. Not so much beekeeping as it was solid information for you guys to chew on. I'm your host, Jerry Hanson, here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm in the Bee Yard. I want to thank you guys for joining me and learning some more as I learn some more on beekeeping. Please stay tuned to some more videos. You could do that by, subscribing and also clicking that bell icon, which alerts you to new videos as I upload them. And hey, you can always leave me a comment or a question. Like today, I just answered some questions and gave you my opinion on what I wanted to do with my hives based upon some inquiries I had from viewers like you. And I want to really thank you for leaving those questions, because I really, really do appreciate them. Also, smashing that share button. Yeah, that, and sharing my videos out on your social media platforms, that really helps our channel grow. And yes, we really want our channel to grow and become more prosperous, so I can achieve more things here on the homestead and improve more things. Also, you can follow us on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Reddit, Blogger, not Instagram. I keep saying Instagram. But I am on Parlay, which is parlor.com. And I'm also on that one that bounces. Bouncer. I can't remember the name of it. It slipped my mind. That's a sign of getting old. I have a photographic memory, but now, at this age, I am completely out of film. I'm also on, what's that other one? Oh my God, I'm having so much trouble. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, but what's that Bunser one? Oh, you guys look it up. We'll see you guys later.